I could stand here and tell you a sweet story about a shy freshman who didn't do or say much and eventually came out of their shell. But the truth is that that's not me. As I look back at my freshman self now, I see a loud, annoying freshman who wanted to do it all. I believe Pam said ADHD a little bit that you mentioned. I think, yeah, that might have been me. And if none of you know what that is like, just spend some time with my little brother. I think he fits that perfectly. But no, they say it's not about where you start, it's about where you're going. I really have come a long way since those times, and I have traveled the path of FFA. Let's rewind a few years back to a story about that dorky freshman. I hadn't even been in FFA for a month, yet I was determined to attend every single FFA possible for a green hand. The time had come for my first CDE, and I've calculated it up, and in my years I've attended 9 invitational CDEs, 11 state contests, and yes, 46 section CDEs. So I've spent my fair share, some may say too much time, competing in FFA contests. But you can see why my first CDE was such a big deal for me. I did get a bit worried because there was a golf match that night, but there was no need to fret because the contest was during the day, and we would get back in time to leave for golf that evening. The forestry contest was hosted by Liberty and was held at Siloam Springs State Park. I had studied my little heart out, and it paid off because I placed 7th in the green hand division, and I was on top of the world. I hopped on the bus, and my heart filled with pride, but soon my mood quickly changed as we discovered that the bus had broken down. Yes, Karen, Niekamp, and all 23 members who attended that forestry contest that day were stranded. The bus was broken down, we were stranded in what seemed like the middle of nowhere, and we weren't going to get back to school on time, and I was going to miss my golf meet. I thought my life was ruined. But to my rescue came Section President Meredith Brinkman, my hero. She kindly volunteered to drive Will and I from Siloam Springs to Arrowhead Golf Course in Camp Point so we wouldn't miss our golf meet. On the ride there, I breathed a sigh of relief, but little did I know that this was not only one of many more schedule conflicts to come in the future. I rode in the back seat while admiring the leadership of Meredith Brinkman, and one day I vowed that I would fill her shoes by becoming section president. Later that year, I was instructed to fill out a card listing our goals, and I believe I still have that card today.
Of course he does. He's worse than Billy.
Oh, yeah. Here it is. Got it. Okay. On this card, it reads, they forced us to fill this out our freshman year, telling us what our goals would be, even though we didn't care what clothes we put on or what we were eating for lunch that day. But I jotted down some notes, and short-term goals: have a successful LTS, have fun at national convention, okay? And then midterm goals: win a CDE, receive state degree, and long-term goals. I wrote that down because I love Meredith Brinkman so much. I wrote down become section president. So I held on to that card, and I still have it today. Just remember that. Sophomore year had come. I was freaking out when I realized that our marching band competition in Chicago and the National FFA Convention in Indianapolis were scheduled on the same weekend. How dare they not consider my schedule? Who did they think they are? But I racked my brain over which to choose and how to decide. I fondly remember everyone telling me that you're going to have to choose one or other. I know you don't want to, but you're going to have to do it. But to my rescue came Miss Aspel, my band director, my hero. She had found a train from Indianapolis to Chicago that would get us from point A to point B in perfect time. She managed to come in with a solution for me and the girls who had also had this conflict. So we went off to National Convention, had a great time, got in a taxi around 4 in the morning to get in the train station, and I believe we made Kayla ride in the front seat with that shady taxi driver. And we got on that train, and we rode that train from Indianapolis to Chicago. We met up with Miss Aspel's parents at the train station in Chicago, and they proceeded to drive us to our marching band competition. And I may also mention that this was my first time in a taxi, first time on a train, and first time in Chicago. So talk about a crazy time. I don't know how we managed to pull it off and how our parents let us do it, but we did it. There is something truly satisfying in know that I got to go to both events despite what everyone told me. Junior year. The conflict was that the district proficiency interviews and our annual Colorado ski trip fell on the same week. By this point, you should already assume that I would figure out some way to make it to both events, and that I did. Monday night, my family packed up the car and headed out to Colorado while I stayed home. On Wednesday, I went to Jacksonville, nailed my interview, qualified for state, and came back home late that night. After about 3 solid hours of sleep, I woke up around 4 a.m. and Tony Dunker, my mom's friend, my hero, drove me down to the St. Louis airport. I hopped on the plane and flew out to Colorado by myself. My parents were there to meet me in Denver, and I still enjoyed 2.5 full days of snow skiing. This plan would have been a complete failure if I hadn't have won my interview, but of course, with the lucky duck that I am, everything turned out all right as it should. Later that year, I had considered all my luck, and I decided that yes, I was going to go ahead and try to run for Section 11 president, and that I did. I went in with a good amount of confidence. I thought, I've got a good amount of friends here in Section 11 and the other schools. I'm pretty confident. I've got a good speech lined up, and there's no way that I was going to lose. I was just going to nail this thing, and then I was going to be the next section president. So we went in, and we waited, and I did my speech, and then they tallied the votes and brought us out to let me know that I had won, of course. But then Taylor Hardy, the section president at the time, came on the microphone, and I will never forget the words that she said. Your 2013-2014 Section 11 president is Kayla Peterson. Did you pronounce that wrong? It's Marcus Jansen, I believe, that you're trying to pronounce. No, Kayla Peterson would be our next Section 11 president. That was it. I had lost, meaning no section president, no state officer, no happy ending. And those who were there that day can attest that I was indeed a bit grumpy. I did not utter a smile all evening. And I look back and I feel like my world had ended. I still completed the election and got another office, but I had not fulfilled my dream. I drove home myself that evening with my dauber certainly down. I thought my FFA career was over. I had failed my goals. For the next few days, I went about my life sulking over my loss and feeling sorry for myself. And I've been told sometime that you only get 2 days to pout. So on the 3rd day, I came to my senses. I learned from the wise men of Matthew Deusterhouse and Andrew Doyle that it is best to live life by Disney movie lessons. So I followed the wise words of Rafiki from the Disney classic Lion King. Oh yes, the past can hurt, but by the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it. Luckily, I chose to learn. I discovered that if I had become president, I would have missed out on so many other things that I enjoy. I would have missed the Adams County Fair, my senior homecoming week, and being a part of the 3rd place state basketball team. I was focused on the fact that I had failed one goal, yet I had so many other things to be grateful for. Now, let's bring out that card again that I mentioned earlier and kind of do a checklist here.
Pocket.
It's here somewhere, but so I pant pocket. Oh, there it is. Good call. See, sidekick here. Let's see. Have a successful LTS night. Check. Have fun at national convention. Check. 4 years worth of that. Win a CDE. Got that a few times. State degree. Right here. Show you that. And then long-term goals. It says become section president. Uh-oh. Fail. Okay. I did not complete that goal, but I did not let that stop me. Okay. I may not have accomplished my goal, but I have a true appreciation for the things that I did accomplish. Now, I have never really been into comic books or superheroes, but I know a hero when I see one. The heroes that I know don't have superpowers, and they don't have special names. The real heroes are disguised as everyday people. People like Meredith Brinkman, Miss Aspel, Tony Dunker, Matthew Deusterhouse, and Andrew Doyle. People that came to me in my times of need. These and many others are my heroes. I know an outstanding group of superheroes that we see here today. They're not the Avengers, not the Fantastic Four, or the Justice League of America. They don't wear a fancy suit, a mask, or a cape. But when they put on those blue corduroy jackets, they can do anything they put their minds to, as long as they keep their eyes on the road ahead. I can only hope that in my 4 years, I have done my duty as an FFA hero. Senior year. This past year has been a blast. I've had so much success and have had so much fun. I couldn't have asked for a better way to end my high school career. It has truly been an honor to serve as your chapter president. Now, in my last few moments as an FFA member, my road has come to an end, but this doesn't mean that I'm done traveling. I'm on the on-ramp now, and pretty soon I'll be riding along the big highway with a new chapter in my life. It's been a long road, but the ride has seemed to fly by. I have learned the differences between a pine and a spruce, experienced riding a train, flew a plane by myself, all because I joined the FFA. Some of my most fond memories from high school have come from trips on the road, like last night when Kayla and Summer and I went cruising down Broadway, and that drunk lady at Kelly's stopped by for a visit, or later on today, or earlier on today, taking the back roads from Camp Point when Corey Miller and I were coming back from track practice, some of my best times. And I found that I'm willing to change my schedule and go out of my way for an FFA event because it is simply something that I love to do. As Hercules put it in one of my favorite Disney songs, I know every mile will be worth my while. I would go most anywhere to feel like I belong. Find where you belong. Find what you love to do. You are the one behind the wheel, and you get to choose where to go. You can choose to hold the accelerator and speed through, or you can take it easy and enjoy the journey. FFA members, I challenge you to go out and accomplish what you want to do. Some people may tell you that you can't do it, and you will probably run into some issues along the way, but that should push you to try even harder. You may have to ride with a friend, take a train, fly in a plane to the other side of the country. Heck, ride a bike, hovercraft, tractor, speedboat, flying go-kart, Amish buggy, whatever it takes to get you there. Hit the road, get on track, and take off, because eventually you will get somewhere. You may run out of gas, but that just means that you've come a long way. You know where you are, and you know where you want to go. The challenge is getting there. Be a friend, be a traveler, be someone's hero. Thank you.